Loren here. So I am here in Nick's absence. He's off on holiday. So the highest reward for a man's toil is not what he gets for it, but what he becomes of it. So that's John Ruskin. So again, happy Motivational Monday. Thank you for spending your time with me. So a quick overview. So we're going to go through the tip of the week, as well as the sales shout outs, and then AHIP. AHIP is going to be our big topic of discussion today. So again, if you guys have questions, please let it be known and I'd be more than happy to help you out. So the tip of the week. So, effective December 26, 2019, NatGen short-term medical PPO is in Arkansas, Mississippi, and Ohio. So no GIs in Mississippi. So you can now quote all NatGen products 90 days in advance. I think that's a great sales piece for someone, especially when you know they're getting ready to come up for a renewal. So you can go ahead and give them those rates and quotes 90 days in advance, which is, I think, a great sales piece. So Florida short-term PPO is now offering a $4,000 deductible with a $75.25 co-insurance. So let's talk about our sales leaders and the kudos. This is my favorite part. So for the week of September 23rd, 2019, the leader in short-term medical is NatGen. So the limited edition med is UHC Health Protector Guard, and then the accident, which is the leader, is the Plan Enhancer. Critical illness, we have NatGen again, and then on the dental, we have Emeritus. So for the week of September 23rd, 2019, the leaders in sales for short-term medical is Alexander Lewis, great job. Jacob Gordon again, great job. And then Glenn Shade. Congratulations, you guys. Keep up the great work. So on that limited med, we have Katiana Santamaria and then Kent Kirkwood. Great job, guys. Keep it going. And then on the accident, we have Donald Trotter and then Glenn Shade. Again, great guys. Great. Keep it up. I hope to see your names up on this next week as well. So let's talk about AHIP. AHIP, frequently asked questions. So as one of the trainers here, these are some of the trends that I have people constantly asking about. So I wanted to get into it with you guys and have some clarification. Okay, so what does AHIP stand for? So AHIP is the American Health Insurance Plans. So this is a national association whose members are going to provide coverage or healthcare related services. So how does a person become AHIP certified, or what is an AHIP certification? So this is proof that you've completed a series of Medicare training courses. Now, keep in mind that this is for the Centers of Medicare and Medicaid, and the Medicaid services relies on state agencies to determine eligibility for most of the providers. So make sure that you check with your state and get more information about eligibility requirements. So we also have in this, with the certifications, this is, you have to complete any and all of the AHIP Medicare training courses if you want to sell any of the Medicare products. So those Medicare Part C's or the standalone PDPs, you have to be certified. So basically it's a compliance completion on your part, the agent. Now, some of those agents out there do not care to sell Medicare, but they want to sell the supplement plans. So please remember, you do not need to be AHIP certified in the event you are only going to sell the Medicare, Medigap plans, the MedSup plans, because those are governed by your local Department of Insurance, so your state. How long does it take to complete AHIP? So this has been one of those questions that it depends on how well you read and how quick you read. So for most people, I have found, and even myself, I've gone through this, it took me about 2 hours to work through each of the modules. So how many modules are there? There's 5. So I have found that it takes 5 to 8 hours for me, but I'm a speed reader, to go through and get all the information that I need. Now, as I'm doing this, I'm taking print screens of all of the questions in the modules. I'm printing out the modules itself for reference material. So how many questions are the AHIP exam? So each exam is 50 questions, and there is a time limit of 2 hours. Now, if you do not have 2 hours to give to focus on your testing, exit out. Once you exit out, it is not considered a test that has been entered. As soon as you enter it and submit, that is when it's going to count either for your benefit or not to your benefit. So I highly recommend that you have 2 solid hours where you don't have other people interrupting you, so you can complete it without problems. So what score do you need? Well, a passing score is 90%. Now, you can do the test questions. There is sample questions in each of the 5 modules. Again, I would tend to take any and all of those test questions and print screen them in each of the modules, so you could go back and have a reference piece, because again, you have 2 hours to complete this. It is open book. Again, as I've stated here, take a print of the module and use them for your notes for your exam. You can either print the module into a PDP format, which you can then go through as you are taking your exam, or I like it the old-fashioned way, print screen it and then print it out and have it there in my hand so I can futz through it. So how much does the AHIP test cost? So the AHIP test is $175. Some of the carriers are giving discounts once you've completed the exam. We have found that Aetna is offering a discount upfront, and then upon completion of your AHIP and you are AHIP certified with them, they're also reimbursing you the balance. So, but it also depends on, some carriers want so many pieces of business to be written and submitted, and they will reimburse you. So double check with everyone that you're appointed with. So where do I register for AHIP? So you're going to go to www.ahipmedicaretraining.com. So it's pretty simple, not to be confused with medicaretraining.com. I have had some agents try to go through the Centers of Medicare and Medicaid CMS website and look for the AHIP link there. No, please just write it out or print screen this at www.ahipmedicaretraining.com. So again, some of the more common questions that I have had. Do I need to do AHIP Medicare training every year? Well, the answer is yes. You will have to do some studying every year, because remember, every year rules and regulations change. So with that being said, you are going to have to keep up on top of it. Some of the questions from year to year will stay the same, but some also change. And again, because we've already stated that this is open book, you can always refer back to your material at any time. But remember, every year those regulations around the Medicare Advantage change. So it's important for you to stay updated on how to protect your customers. And most returning, all returning agents can skip parts of the modules once they've tested 4 to 5 years in a row. So it's also good to keep on top of it. How many times can you take AHIP? So you have 3 attempts, or you may test again after paying an additional $175. So again, this is kind of one of those areas where people are like, well, I thought I could only do it 3 times. Well, for your payment of $175, yes. But most carriers will allow you 3 attempts using their discount. Again, check with each of those carriers. In many cases, you can take the test again after paying that additional $175. But the exception to the 3 attempts policy is United Healthcare. They'll allow you to attempt AHIP certification 6 times. But again, you have to go through United Healthcare for that certification for AHIP. So when does AHIP certification for 2019 open? So it opens on Monday, June 17th. Many of the carriers will allow you to use the 2020 AHIP training to certify to sell for both 2019 and 2020. So AHIP removed their 2019 Medicare and fraud, waste, and abuse, so the FWA training. But again, they launched the 2020 AHIP certification back in June, and many carriers will allow you to use that 2020 AHIP training to certify and to sell for both years. So some people have also asked, well, where do I register for AHIP? Again, that website is www.ahipmedicalcaretraining.com. So guys, this is going to conclude our morning together. But if you have any questions, whether it's about this AHIP, these power slides, or just questions in general, make sure you email training@ahcpsales.com, or agency services, you can call them at 877-228-8773. So I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you for spending some of your time with me. I greatly appreciate it. And we will see you next week. You guys have a great day. Thanks.